You know that project you've been putting off because there's still plenty of time? What if I told you the secret to actually getting it done isn't better time management or productivity hacks? As much as I love a good productivity hack, it's changing how you think about time itself. Stick around because today's episode is going to change how you approach every single goal in your business. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tonia Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Before we dive in, let me share a story with you. Picture me cramped in an airplane seat, the middle seat, because don't we always somehow end up in the middle seat, heading to Grand Rapids, Michigan for a conference. This was in 2017, I think. I had a copy of The 12-Week Year by Moran and Michael Lennington that I had checked out from the library because I kept hearing about it and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I had another book with me as a backup just in case it turned out to be underwhelming. But let me tell you, by the time that plane landed, my notebook was full of ideas. Now, I'll be totally honest with you. As someone who's been doing 90-day planning for about 2 decades, I wasn't expecting any major revelations. But sometimes the most powerful insights come from seeing familiar concepts through a fresh lens, and that's exactly what happened. For those of you who are new here, let me give you some quick context. I run an online business selling courses and managing a membership community. I work entirely from home, just like many of you, and I know firsthand the struggles of trying to juggle all the balls when you're the only one doing the juggling. That's exactly why I think this book and its concepts are so relevant for solopreneurs like us. So let's dive into what the 12-week year actually is and why it's different from typical annual planning. The core concept seems simple. Instead of spreading your goals across an entire year, you condense them into 12-week chunks. But here's where it gets interesting. It's not just about shorter time frames. It's about completely revolutionizing how you think about time, goals, and execution. Think about it this way. How many times have you set New Year's resolutions or annual business goals only to find yourself in October thinking, oh shoot, do I still have time to make this happen? We've all been there. The 12-week year eliminates that false sense of security that comes with long-term planning. When you only have 12 weeks, every single day matters. You know what I love most about this approach? It aligns perfectly with how our brains actually work. We're wired for shorter-term thinking. It's why that project due tomorrow gets done, but that someday project keeps getting pushed to the back burner. The 12-week year basically tricks your brain into treating all your important goals like they're due tomorrow, or at least in 12 weeks. Now let's break down the 3 main principles of the book, and I'll share how they've played out in my own business because let's be real, theory is great, but we want to know how this stuff actually works in the real world, right? First up is vision, and I know what you're thinking, oh great, another conversation about vision boards and manifestation. That's not what this is. While I'm all for vision boards, the book talks about creating a vision that actually drives action, not just pretty pictures on a board. The 12-week year encourages you to write 2 visions. One is aspirational, what you ultimately want to achieve. The other is a 3-year vision, which, like it sounds, is what you want to achieve in the next 3 years. I talk about creating a vision statement in episode 37. And while it's not strictly based on the 12-week year, it will help you get clearer on your vision. I'll include a link to that episode in the show notes. The second principle is planning, and this is where things get really practical. The book emphasizes creating a 12-week plan that's concise and actionable. If you've been around me for a while, you know how much I love an actionable plan. The authors suggest that the actions you take determine your future. If you want to know what the future holds for you, look at your actions because they predict it. This reminds me of a saying I heard years ago on an audio recording, and it really stuck with me. Thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, and habits become destiny. That's exactly why having a solid plan is crucial. It's the bridge between your thoughts and your actions. It's what transforms those big ideas floating around in your head into real, tangible results. But here's the thing. Even the best plan is useless if you tuck it away in a drawer somewhere and forget about it. That means your 12-week plan needs to be visible, like really visible. I keep my 90-day plan in a spreadsheet that's open on my computer all day. It's kind of like having an accountability partner staring at you all day long, but way less creepy. Now let's talk about the third principle, execution. This is where I had my biggest aha moment, and it's actually what led to one of the most important systems in my business and life, my scorecard system. After reading about the importance of disciplined execution and weekly accountability, I realized I needed a way to track not just my results, but my critical activities. My scorecard starts with my 90-day plan, then it's broken down monthly and then weekly, and I can see exactly where I stand on all 3 timeframes at any given moment. And the best part, it makes weekly and monthly planning quick and easy because I've already made the big decisions when I created the 90-day plan. By the way, if you want to see exactly how I set this up, check out my 90-day planning bootcamp. I'll drop a link in the show notes. Now let's get really practical about how you can implement this in your own business, because theory is great, but we need action steps, right? First, let's talk about goal selection. This is crucial, and it's where I see a lot of people mess up. You need to be ruthlessly realistic about what you can accomplish in 12 weeks. One of the things I say all the time is that if you try to do too many different things, you end up accomplishing nothing. The authors of the 12-week year agree with me. They suggest that trying to succeed on all fronts is an exercise in futility. Here's what I recommend. Pick 3 goals for your 12-week period. You might even pick goals that work together so that you can build synergy. For example, if one goal is to launch a new course, you might also have goals to grow your email list by X number of subscribers and create a lead magnet funnel. Your list growth and funnel will help you sell the course once it's completed. Next, you need to break these goals down into weekly actions. This is where you get super specific. Don't write down work on course because that's way too vague. Instead, write record module 1 videos, 4 videos of 15 minutes each, or write email sequence for launch. Now let's talk about tracking progress because this is where so many people get tripped up. You know what I love about the 12-week year approach to measurement? It doesn't have to be complicated to work, but it does need to be frequent. No more waiting until the end of the quarter to figure out if you're on track. The book introduces 2 types of indicators you need to track: lag and lead indicators. Think of lag indicators as your actual goals, the results you want to achieve. Lead indicators are the actions that make those goals happen. Let me break this down with a simple example. Let's say you want to add 1,000 subscribers to your email list in 12 weeks. That's your lag indicator. It's the end result you're aiming for. So what are the lead indicators, the actions you need to make that happen? Maybe it's publishing 3 pieces of content per week, running 2 Facebook ads, or doing 1 collaboration per month. These are the actions you can control right now, today. Here's where my scorecard system comes in and why I'm kind of obsessed with it. Each week, I track how many of my planned actions I actually completed. And let's get real specific here. If I planned to do 4 key activities this week and only completed 3, that gives me a 75% execution score. And here's the kicker. The book says you need at least an 85% score to know you're heading in the right direction. Anything less, you're probably not going to hit your goal. What I love most about this approach is that it shifts your focus from results to actions. Because let's be honest, we can't always control the results, but we can absolutely control our actions. And here's the beautiful thing. When you focus on the actions and hit that 85% execution score consistently, the results tend to take care of themselves. No more, but I tried really hard, or I got distracted by whatever the latest shiny object is. The numbers don't lie. You either did the actions or you didn't. It's that simple. And trust me, while that level of accountability might feel a little uncomfortable at first, it's exactly what most of us need to stop spinning our wheels and start seeing real progress. Now let's address some of the common challenges you might face, because I promise you will face challenges. First, there's the overwhelm factor. When you start breaking down your goals into weekly actions, it can feel like a lot. The key is to remember that you don't have to do everything at once. Focus on your highest leverage activities first. Another challenge is dealing with the unexpected. Maybe your kid gets sick right in the middle of your launch week, or your computer decides to have an existential crisis while you're trying to record course videos. Yes, that happened to me. The beauty of the 12-week system is that it's flexible enough to handle those curveballs while keeping you focused on what matters most. One challenge I see with a lot of my students is the tendency to overplan and under-execute. Spending 3 weeks creating the perfect plan and then feeling behind before you even start working on it. Remember, done is better than perfect. Get your plan to 80% and start executing. So here's what I want you to do after listening to this episode. Get yourself a copy of the 12-week year. Seriously, it's worth the investment, and I'll include a link in the show notes. But you can also see if your library has a copy. 2, block out 60 minutes this week to map out your first 12-week plan. Keep it simple and focused. Remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And sometimes the simplest systems are the most effective ones. The 12-week year isn't revolutionary because it's complex. It's revolutionary because it works. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and also leave a review. And hey, if you're implementing the 12-week year in your business, I'd love to hear about it. Tag me on Instagram or hit reply to one of my emails. I always write back. Until next time, keep taking action and moving forward. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the Training and Resource Vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit toniakendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.